Hey guys, my name is Chase. I'm a contributor to Wormhole, and today I'm going to be giving a very brief overview of the Wormhole ecosystem. So let's just hop right into it. So first off, what is Wormhole? It is a decentralized, universal message passing protocol for blockchains. And I am fully aware that's a mouthful of words, so let's drill into it a little bit and talk about what role Wormhole plays in the DeFi ecosystem. So we start off with a bunch of blockchains like Ethereum, Solana, and Terra, and these chains all have huge amounts of value in their own right and lively ecosystems. However, they are fundamentally incapable of communicating with each other, and that has led to a whole host of problems. The first problem you encounter is that there's no straightforward way to move tokens between any two blockchains. And the primary way this has been overcome thus far is to use centralized bridges and centralized exchanges to move the assets for you. And this isn't ideal because it effectively amounts to giving someone else your funds and then trusting that they'll do the right thing. However, it at least works so long as you accept that. And while moving funds is one thing, there's still a much more difficult problem, which is that smart contracts and applications written on these blockchains also can't communicate with each other. And with the rise of DeFi and the growing dominance of smart contracts and layer 2 applications, this has become an increasingly painful limitation. And this is where the Wormhole core layer comes in. The core layer is the backbone of the entire Wormhole ecosystem, and it solves this fundamental communication problem, and it does so without centralization. The Wormhole core layer is actually quite simple, but it's also very powerful. It works by deploying a contract on each blockchain called the core contract. And other contracts can use this to send a message off-chain or verify the authenticity of a message they received. However, the real power of the core layer is not in the core contract, but rather in its second component, the Guardian network. And the Guardian network's responsibility is to observe and sign messages which are sent from each chain via the core contract. In total, there are 19 Guardians in the Guardian network, and each one of them observes every blockchain supported by Wormhole. A Wormhole message is not considered valid until 2/3 of the Guardians have observed and signed it. And it is actually these signatures which the core contract is verifying when it assesses the authenticity of a message. As somewhat of an aside, it's quite difficult to run a Guardian as it requires observing every single blockchain supported by Wormhole. And as such, the 19 Guardians were selected from a list of the beefiest and most reputable infrastructure providers and validators in the world. So if you compare the list of Guardians to the list of top validators on Wormhole-supported blockchains, you'll see a lot of names in common. Okay, now moving on from the core layer, there is another major component to the Wormhole ecosystem, and that is, of course, the token bridge. Now, because the Wormhole token bridge is quite popular, there is a widely held misconception that Wormhole is only a token bridge, but as we've just discussed, that is obviously not the case. Now, there was a version 1 token bridge which launched last year. However, that has since been deprecated in favor of the version 2 Wormhole token bridge. And version 2 is actually just a protocol built on top of the core layer to facilitate transferring tokens across chains in a manner which is composable with other core layer protocols. So while the version 2 token bridge is built on top of the core layer, it is not considered part of the core layer. There are a lot of points I could go into about the token bridge, but for today's video, I'm just going to go over some high-level points. And the first is that because it's built on top of the core layer, it is as decentralized as the core layer. It's also the primary token bridge for Solana, and it is becoming the primary token bridge for Terra as the shuttle bridge is being deprecated. It also has over 1 billion TVL, which is the total value of assets held by the bridge. This makes it one of the highest TVL bridges in any ecosystem and means that Wormhole wrap tokens have a lot of liquidity in various markets. Lastly, it also supports NFTs, which is a rather uncommon feature. Alright, so now that we've gone over the bare bones basics of how the Wormhole network works, let's talk about some of the types of applications which are being built on it today. So because Wormhole allows for arbitrary message passing, developers can approach problems from a protocol-first design perspective. They can lay out their application as a series of payloads and actions, and then treat smart contracts as an implementation detail for each blockchain. These new protocol-first applications can be entirely chain agnostic. Alternately, they can choose to leverage the strengths of each blockchain individually. For example, an application might choose to offload transactions onto Solana when fees and performance are a concern, but then still use Ethereum as their final settlement layer. This allows for decentralized implementations of things like multi-chain DEXs or chain-agnostic wallets, and multi-chain DAOs with cross-chain governance, and hitherto impossible NFT projects, and much more. So in summary, Wormhole ultimately aims to unify the DeFi ecosystem by increasing interoperability. Applications no longer need to choose to be on a specific blockchain, but can instead be on every chain. So to close out, Wormhole has been in mainnet since September, so this isn't some lofty product pitch about what the project hopes to accomplish in the future. Everything I've discussed is in mainnet right now, and there are already teams building on Wormhole. If you're interested in learning more or getting started with development, there are quite a few useful resources linked in the description. Wormhole is entirely open source and provides both a TypeScript and Rust SDK to developers. There are also quite a few example projects in the official repository to help you get started. All right, that is all I've got for today. I hope this overview was helpful and that you now have a little bit better understanding of Wormhole. So, thanks for watching.